For thousands of years, we've been under the impression the Bible was meant to be taken seriously. Finally, a new translation that'll change all that. This is Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible.
Reach out, touch faith.
Welcome to Season 4, Episode 4 of Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible with me, David Tuckman, coming to you from an underground volcano. Each week on the show, a guest joins me and tries to read a whole big chunk of my own personal translation of the Hebrew Bible while I make fun of it. This time around, my guest, some guy, and a voice actor, reads about an ill-fated spy mission, God's irrepressible anger, and some more endless rules. Enjoy! There's a part of me that thinks this can go two ways. I think either you see one of those really embarrassing losses where it's like by one run and you're extremely frustrated, or this can be like that game in 2015 where they just blew them out.
Yeah, I was thinking that I want it to be that game that Syndergaard pitched and they hit 3 home runs in one inning. Yeah,
I can see this being an absolute blowout. Who's pitching tonight? It's Harvey, right?
Yes, it's Harvey.
Oh, this is a big game because a lot depends on that.
And it's Tanner Roark for Washington, the man who hopefully he'll get his tits lit again as Keith.
But I mean, like for Harvey, this is his second game, right? This is where he really proves himself, and we see whether or not he's actually going to be decent this season or he's going to blow up again. Welcome back to Angry Queens Talk. We've got I'm here with my guest Brian Levinson. He is an unsuccessful voice actor and a fellow Mets fan. We're just talking about being frustrated about the New York Mets and their chances this year.
There is no way. It's just not happening.
I look, it's spring. I have optimism. I'm excited. Things are looking up again. There's possibility in the air. You can sense it. It's really great though because this episode we're recording before the episode is released. That's how the world works. So by the time this comes out, we will either be really really happy or we will have given up and burned all our Mets jerseys this year.
But by June the season will be over. We'll be focusing on the NBA draft.
Brian is here to read the Bible with me, as you know, because you're listening to this episode. That you downloaded from, I don't even know. Brian, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, David.
Thanks for talking about the Mets with me.
Oh,
for
anytime.
A while.
At all times.
So I wanted to get to know you a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about yourself. So you're a voice actor, right?
Yes, it does not pay. It does not pay the bills. I have a day job, but I started doing it last summer. And it's been I've booked like 4 jobs. I also did some audiobooks.
Okay,
that was fun. I really enjoyed it because I got to do like different accents and voices and stuff. Mm-hmm. The commercials I've done, they've just asked me to read in my regular voice. Oh, except no, I did one where I had to sound like a cowboy.
Okay.
That was fun.
What's that voice like?
It was like, we struck gold.
Oh my God.
We struck gold. It was a prospector, not a cowboy. But
Where would I have heard that? Have I heard it?
You have not heard it.
Okay.
If you do hear it in the future, it will be in an ad for Dos Equis.
Okay.
But I have no idea if they're going to use it. So it'll be a radio ad.
Okay. I don't really listen to the radio, I have to be honest.
Not even for Mets games?
No, well, no, because I have the whole SNY TV thing. Yeah. I mean, maybe if I'm driving, I would rather listen to Keith, Gary, and Ron. Oh, now we're getting like nobody in my audience. I would rather listen to Keith, Gary, and Ron than Howie and Josh. I mean, I love Howie and Josh. All right. I think one of the things that I remember is one of your earliest public voice acting displays was on Jeopardy.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
So that's something folks can check out if they're listening to this episode. I think it's still on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. It's on YouTube. You can look up me, Brian Levinson, Jeopardy on YouTube, and you will get a clip of me humiliating myself. So.
You, as you know, I can edit anything that you don't want aired out of this. But you were the one who had the fortitude to stand up to Alex Trebek and quote Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, I did the Sean Connery.
My hat's off to you.
Well, thank you, but only. I get a lot of. I didn't just do it randomly. The name of the category was months that start with Feb Trebek.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I mean, they wanted me to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
They wanted me.
They were
to do
setting
it.
you up.
Yeah.
They knew somehow that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
They were putting. They were asking for it? No.
Trebek said you can keep doing that voice. I like it.
Really? Okay.
He did. He said and my biggest regret in life is that when he said you can keep doing that voice, I like it. I didn't say, that's what your mother said last night.
Oh, that would have been legendary.
That would have been.
Oh man. So you're doing voice acting right
am.
now. How have I heard any of I don't listen to audiobooks, but
No.
Okay.
I did like an internal thing for IBM that I think they put on on airplanes.
Okay. What? Oh, okay.
It's like a commercial. Like before they get to the block of
Yeah.
TV, they'll do a little commercial.
Yeah, about how great Delta is, or
Or actually it was for IBM.
IBM doesn't have air. Okay, sure. Yeah,
I guess maybe they set up
power
the Wi-Fi or
yeah,
something. I don't know.
They did something. Okay, so let's talk about religion for a little
Yes.
bit before we get into
Yes.
the actual reading. So what is your background in religion? How were you raised?
This is an interesting story that hopefully will not go on too long. I was raised Catholic, but my father actually converted to Catholicism from Judaism before he married my mother, and I was raised with basically no religion until age 8. I was baptized, but we only went to church on Christmas and Easter. My dad moved out when I was 8. He went back to being Jewish, which involved going to the rabbi saying, how do I go back to being Jewish? And the rabbi saying, you were always Jewish.
It's a very rabbi thing to say.
And my mother was like, you are going to be like Catholic now. You are going to Mass every Sunday. You're getting your first communion. So, yeah, for a number of years, I went to Mass every Sunday. Was a good Catholic lad, had the ashes smeared on my forehead for Schmutz Kepi Wednesday.
No more schmutz.
Yeah, and then I stopped being a practicing Catholic when I was a teenager. After college, I went to work for the Union for Reform Judaism. And I worked there for 6 years, and I got a fairly decent understanding of Judaism from working at that organization, which is a terrific, just really really great people. I really like that organization. So I got to learn a lot about Judaism and really sort of explore the Jewish side of my heritage when I worked there. So right now, I guess you'd call me an atheist, but with a great respect for both Christianity and Judaism and any other religion. Live and let live, I say.
Yeah. Have you ever read the entirety of the Bible?
No, I have not read the entirety of the Bible. I've read the entirety of the New Testament.
Okay.
In a class in college.
The sequel.
The sequel. It's much shorter. It's so short. It's very, very easy to get through in one semester. But I know bits and pieces. I know the most violent parts.
Those are the most fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you. I have not read Numbers all the way through or Leviticus. Any parts about
I have. Let me tell you. Worth it if you're listening to my podcast. That's the only way.
Yeah. I've certainly heard enough Torah portions at bar mitzvahs growing up. So,
That's the way a lot of people hear it, I think, or discover the weirder parts of it. Do you have, from what you've read or what you know, do you have a favorite character or story?
Favorite character story
that appeals to you?
In the Torah or in the entire I shouldn't call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible,
the Hebrew Bible, yeah.
And I believe I've even discussed this with you before. The part with Ehud, the left-handed judge, who slices up that fat king on the toilet. That just, love that.
Love that.
The concubine getting chopped into 12 parts and sent to the 12 tribes. That's a good one. That's also Judges, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Or one of the other funky. The stuff that I can't wait to get to, actually.
Oh, that stuff is so good.
So juicy.
And I was just
Literally
talking with a girlfriend this morning about how everybody misunderstands the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah as having to do with homosexuality instead of hospitality.
Yeah.
It's all, take my virgin daughters.
Yeah,
take them.
Rape them.
Fill all the holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just they weren't good hosts.
Not good hosts.
Yeah. So do you believe in God?
No, but okay. I don't want to be a jerk about it. Like, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't understand about the universe, and I don't presume to. No, I don't believe in God, but that's just my personal belief.
Wonderful. Are you ready to read it? God damn it. Are you ready to read? Oh my God, I've said this so many times. Are you ready to read the Bible?
I am ready to read the Bible, David.
I feel like I have to say it as like an announcer voice for it to come out right. This is Torah, a loose translation, Book 4, In the Desert. Episode 4, Send Out, Chapter 28, in which the people do some scouting, and it goes very poorly. Numbers 13:1 to 14:45. This is a big one, so strap yourselves in, unless you're not in a car, in which case, walk down the street.
All right. Send one president from each tribe to scope out the land of Canaan that I'm going to give to the sons of Israel, Yehovah said to Moshe.
Remember, this is all Yehovah's idea. This entire plan is Yehovah's idea. Everything that's about to happen is because of Yehovah. Yehovah loves drama.
Moshe followed Yehovah's directions and sent leaders of the sons of Israel from the desert of Paran. They were Shemua, the son of Zakur from Reuben, Shaphat, the son of Hori from Shimon, Hori, okay. Yigal,
got it.
son of Yosef from Yisachar, Hoshea, the son of Nun from Ephraim, Palti, the son of Rephua from Binyamin, Gadiel, the son of Sodi from Zebulun, Gadi, the son of Suesi from Menashe, and also Yosef, Amiel, the son of Gamali from Dan, Satur, the son of Michael from Asher, Vafso, the son of Nachbi from Naphtali, Guel, the son of Machi from Gad. Moshe called Hoshea, the son of Nun, Yehoshua.
Just a little pet name he had.
He sent them all to reconnoiter the land of Canaan.
By the way, without spell check, literally no way I could ever possibly spell reconnoiter correctly.
Go to the south and get up on the mountain, he said, and look at the land. What is it? Is it good? Is it bad?
Let's find out.
And the nation that lives there, are they strong? Are they weak? Are there a lot of them? Or a few?
I really hope they're taking notes.
What about the land they live in? Is it good? Is it bad? What are their cities like? Do they live in camps or in fortresses? Is the land fat or is it lean? Does it have trees or not? Also, be brave and get some of their fruit.
The bravest thing you could possibly do. Collect fruit. You should see the protostyle of Morgan Williams.
It was the days of the first grapes when the scouting crew went up and spied on the land from the desert of Tzin. They traveled until Rehov, coming to Hamat. Then they went up in the south and got to Hebron. Achiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the children of Anak, were there. Hebron was built 7 years before Tzoan in Mitzrayim.
Sure, I feel like there's some context here that is left out, but okay.
Oh my gosh, so many names.
Yeah.
So many names. I read this in the New International Version to prepare, and it was very anglicized. You know, it was Rehoboth.
I do not do that. Rehovot.
They got to Nahal Eshkol and cut down a vine with a cluster of grapes on it that had to be carried on a rod by 2 people.
Some big grapes.
Also, they took some pomegranates and figs.
Normal size, just a few.
The place was called Nahal Eshkol because of the cluster of grapes the sons of Israel took from there.
Nahal meaning river or valley, and Eshkol meaning grape cluster. You really should have seen the grape stuff coming when they got to Nahal Eshkol. You know, it's interesting how it took them like 3 verses to get to the land of Israel that it takes the sons of Israel 40 years to get to. But we'll get to that in this episode.
We will. After 40 days, they came back.
They were just sunning for most of it in Eilat.
They returned to the desert of Paran and Kadesh. And
though Yehoshua, he was clubbing in Tel Aviv for a little while. So they don't print that part.
I'm sorry. They returned to the desert of Paran and Kadesh and reported to Moshe, Aharon, and all the sons of Israel. Also, they showed them the fruits that they took.
It was very brave of them.
Oh, we went to the land, they said, and it's definitely flowing with milk and honey. Check out this fruit. But the nation that lives there is pretty fucking strong, and the cities have big fortifications. Also, we saw the Anak people there. Amalek is living in the south in the land. The Hitti and the Yevusi and the Amori live in the mountain, and the Canaani live on the sea next to the Yarden. Caleb stood by Moshe and quieted the nation. Let us go and take it, Caleb said. We can do anything.
We're young and crazy. Young, dumb, and full of cum.
The Bible should be more like Point Break. There should be more
just a Catherine Bigelow movie in general.
We can't overcome this nation, the other spies said, because they are stronger than we are. They defamed the land they spied on in front of all of Israel.
Yeah, show, don't tell, Bible. Thank you.
The land we went to spy, they said, is a land that eats its inhabitants.
Montana.
Everyone we saw there is pretty darn big. We saw the Nephilim there.
Oh, shit, those guys. Do you remember the Nephilim? Those were the men of great renown. They're like giants back in Genesis.
Oh, like they were giants in the earth?
Yeah. No, they were like the children, because the children of God became enamored with the sons of man or the daughters of man and had some kids, and those were the Nephilim, whatever that means.
I didn't...
So they're like actual giants.
Did you ever see Darren Aronofsky's Noah?
No.
But
I
they have Nephilim in there,
Yes.
and they're like
Awesome.
they're like rock monsters.
Well, that's who was in the land. So they slandered by pointing out the fact that there were rock monsters there. That's my favorite B-52 song, by the way.
The sons of Anak are from the Nephilim. We look like grasshoppers compared to them.
Well, they just need Mr. Miyagi.
That night, everybody cried.
Sometimes everybody cries.
They all complained to Moshe and Aharon. Why didn't we die in Mitzrayim? The whole crew said. So we don't die in this desert. Why did Jehovah take us to this land to fall to the sword and watch our women and children get taken as prisoners? It would be better to go back to Mitzrayim. Let's just fucking go back to Mitzrayim, they all said to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the Egyptians are really going to welcome them back?
Well, they're all dead now anyway.
But like the reason they're dead is they were chasing around the sons of Israel.
Yeah. No, this is a very, very illogical plan.
This is a
Let's
terrible...
just go back to that place where we were slaves and we like destroyed their entire infrastructure and all the men and all the firstborns.
They're not going to be happy to see you, dude.
No,
They're not going to be happy
They're
to see
gonna
you.
kill you there too.
Moshe and Aharon fell on their faces in front of everyone. Yehoshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Yefuneh, both spies, tore their clothes.
I guess everyone's calling him Yoshua now, sure.
This land we spied on is a very, very good land, they said to everyone. If Jehovah likes us, he will take us there and give us this land flowing with milk and honey. Just don't piss him off. Don't be afraid of anybody there. We'll eat them like bread.
That's a lame metaphor, but I guess bread was the only thing they had.
They'll have no protection. Jehovah will be with us. Don't be afraid.
Which is hilarious, right? Because what you're saying, like, they were like, let's just go back to Mitzrayim. What did they think was going to happen? Or they're like, well, Jehovah will kill those people. Like, he's going to kill anybody you fight, no matter what you want to do.
The nation said they'd throw stones at them. The glory of Jehovah appeared to all the sons of Israel in the tent of witnessing.
Meaning more than 1 million people literally see God. Sure.
Why do they keep throwing me away? Jehovah said to Moshe. They still don't believe in me. I've given them so many signs. I'll hit them with a plague. I'll get rid of them and make you a great and massive nation.
Oh my God, I want to turn these into Trump tweets.
Okay, but if you do that, Moshe said, Mitzrayim, who you showed your strength to when you brought these people out, will tell everyone in this new land. They'll hear that you, Jehovah, are right in the middle of this nation, that your cloud stands over them, visible to everyone. Your cloud travels before us by day and a pillar of fire by night. If you kill every single man in this nation, everyone will hear. Like gossip. Moshe has to talk God out of genocide by being like, think of what they'll say about you.
Exactly. No, God is just insanely narcissistic and egotistical. This is one of my theories about this. The whole story is just about God wanting to show all the other gods how great he is. Like, this isn't actually a monotheistic text. The whole,
Right.
leaving Egypt thing is about him proving to all the other gods that he's the biggest god around. And now Moshe's like, you proved it already, but now you're going to throw them away?
Yeah, right, because Pharaoh's priests were able to turn the rods into snakes.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
when Jehovah turns the rods into snakes, they're super snakes.
Yeah.
And they eat the other.
They're bigger snakes.
Yeah, they're just better snakes.
And there's some things that I don't know very well about how, like, each plague represents a different god of Egypt that he's able to overpower. But even then, I mean, God talks as though there are other gods that he's more powerful. Moshe's father-in-law, or whatever it is, groom Reuel, or I can't think of his other name, Yitro.
Jethro, yeah, right.
Jethro says, like, God, your Jehovah proved that he is more powerful than my God, so I will pledge allegiance to Jehovah now. So this is actually a tactic that will work.
All right. Jehovah was too weak to bring this nation to the land he promised, they'll say, so he just killed them all in the desert. Now, increase your strength, my Lord. Remember what you said to me. I am Jehovah, you said, slow to anger,
Nice.
full of kindness, forgiving iniquity and errors, taking revenge and not taking revenge, visiting iniquity of fathers on sons in the third and fourth generations.
Throwing it right back in his face.
Oh, man, and you're so kind to
Yeah, remember how kind you are and slow to anger you are.
Yeah, you only punish the great-great-great-grandchildren for their...
I'm so slow to anger. What are you doing? Complaining about meat.
Please, use your great kindness and forgive the nation. Draw on the kindness you've been using from the time you took them from Mitzrayim until now.
This is like the 8th time Moshe has pleaded with him like this.
I will do what you said, Jehovah said. As long as I live and the glory of Jehovah fills the land, none of the people who have seen my honor and the signs I made in Mitzrayim and in the desert, those who have tested me these 10 times and haven't heard my voice, will see the land I swore to their
I
fathers.
feel like we're missing something with the 10 times, but no. I
No.
need to read more rabbinical texts.
No one who turned on me will see it. My slave Caleb had a different spirit in him and followed me. I'll bring him to the land, and his descendants will inherit it. The Amalekites and the Canaani live in the valleys. Tomorrow, turn and go to the desert by way of the Reed Sea. How much longer will these awful people keep complaining about me? Jehovah said to Moshe and Aharon.
Jehovah does not love his chosen people.
I've heard the complaints of the sons of Israel. This is what you should say to them. I live, Jehovah said. I will do what you've said to my ears. Your corpses will fall in this desert. Everyone 20 and over who complained about me will die. None of you will come to the land I'm taking you to, except Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Yehoshua the son of Nun.
Not Moshe.
The children who you said would be booty will be taken to the land you turned away from, and your corpses will be left in this desert. Your sons will wander in this desert for 40 years and carry your unfaithfulness until the last of your corpses is rotting here.
Slow to anger.
A year for every one of the 40 days you spied on the land. You'll carry your iniquity for 40 years, and you'll know what happens when you oppose me. I am Jehovah, and this is what I've said I'd do to this horrible people who go against me. They'll all die in this desert. That's very Trumpian.
Yeah. God is very Trumpian. It's very...
This horrible people.
Yeah. It's really strange how these malignant narcissists are similar to each other.
Yeah, it's just, 10,000 years is like a day in the eyes of the Lord.
Well, and also how religious people seem to like both of them. And not notice this part.
The men Moshe sent to spy on the land who spread bad news about the land through the nation all died by plague before Jehovah.
That was fast.
Yehoshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, lived. Am I pronouncing Jephunneh?
Yefuna.
Jephunneh.
Caleb
all right.
ben Yefuna, yeah.
Caleb ben Jephunneh. That's Caleb in
Caleb, yeah.
anglicized.
Exactly. I don't know what Yefuna is.
No.
Japana?
Oh, is there like a Japheth? Is that a different guy?
No, that's
a
Yafet.
that's
Shem, Ham, and Yafet.
Noah's kids. Back when they were rock monsters.
Yeah. There still are. They're in the land.
Yeah.
Eating those grapes.
Man, those grapes must have been two people to carry one bunch of grapes. Moshe said these words to the sons of Israel, and they all mourned a lot. They got up in the morning and went on top of the mountain.
Just remember, this is all God's idea. It's like, yeah, good idea. Spy on the land. That I put rock monsters in.
No, I read a little bit. I tried to read some rabbinic commentary. I
Yeah.
went to OU.org, and there was 8 pages of rabbinic commentary about the first line.
Yeah.
About whether it was God's idea or whether God was giving Moshe, saying, you make the choice.
Yeah.
There was so much rabbinic commentary about that. I'm like, okay, I
because
can't get
they're
through
like,
this.
well, we can't have God be an insane person.
Trying to square that circle,
Yeah, we
always.
have to make it that the people were wrong.
Okay. Here we are. We'll go up to the place Jehovah talked about because we sinned, they said. Why did you go against Jehovah's word? Moshe said. This won't work. Don't go up. Jehovah is not within you and won't chase away your enemies. The Amaleks and the Canaan there in front of you will cut you down with the sword because you've turned from following after Jehovah, and Jehovah is not with you.
I like how they're like, no, we want to go. We want to go. Moshe's like, no, it doesn't work like
Too
that.
late. You get one chance, and you blew it. Now your corpses are going to rot.
You're slow to anger God.
They kept going up to the top of the mountain, but without the Ark of the Covenant of Jehovah or Moshe. The Amaleks and the Canaani who lived on the mountain came down and blew them away at Carmah.
That is chapter 28. It's really amazing how many times God just like kills a swath of these people, or some of them die in a battle, and it's really not clear what the numbers are.
Well, I mean, just the numbers at the beginning of Exodus, what is it, like 600,000?
600,000 men over the age of 20.
Yeah, plus women.
Plus women, plus children.
And cattle.
Yeah.
So much
This
magic
is
cereal for
more like probably around 2 million people. It's just camping in the desert. This is chapter 29, in which God explains his weird obsessive sacrifice requirements again. Numbers 15:1 to 15:16.
Oh man, I read this part and oh boy.
Why?
Why?
Where did you read it?
The New International Version, which is
yes,
a popular English translation.
Yes, the NIV.
The NIV. King James is nice, but everybody sounds like a Shakespeare character, and there are some nuances that I don't get.
Yeah.
So, NIV is my go-to. Go tell the sons of Israel, Jehovah said to Moshe, that when they get to the country I'm giving them to live in, they should make an offering to Jehovah, either an olah or a regular one, to fulfill a vow or promise, or whenever to make a nice smell to Jehovah from the flocks or herds.
Who cares?
The person who brings the sacrifice to Jehovah will bring a meal offering of 1/10 of fine flour mixed up with 1/4 hin of oil. Also 1/4 hin of wine for a pouring over of the olah or regular for one sheep.
God, it's so boring.
If it's a ram, you make a meal offering of 2/10 fine flour mixed up with 1/3 of a hin of oil. Also 1/3 of a hin of wine to pour over the offering to make a nice smell for Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
If he's bringing a male bull as his olah or offering to fulfill a promise or a peace offering to Jehovah, he'll bring a meal offering of 3/10 of fine flour mixed with 1/2 a hin of oil. The wine for pouring will also be 1/2 a hin, and it'll make a nice smell for Jehovah.
I like how immediately after he tells all these people, you're not going to get to the land, and you will die before you see it. By the way, here's what you have to do as soon as you get there.
Yeah. And also,
Thanks.
I like the smell. I like it when I smell like I like barbecue.
He likes barbecue. God loves barbecue.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, there are actual Canaanites? Do they call themselves Canaanites in Israel like today?
I don't think so.
I think there is like
Maybe.
a sect. There's
Karaites.
Karaites?
Yeah, but those are people who just follow the written tradition and don't care about the oral law.
Right, and from what I understand, that they do a lot of barbecues.
Good. They better. That's my favorite part about Judaism.
Is the barbecue.
My favorite thing about Judaism is all the barbecue.
Okay. You will do this for every ox, ram, sheep, or goat, no matter how many you bring. Everyone will do this when they make an offering to make a nice smell for Jehovah.
I mean, it's better than the smell of like the fact that nobody's cleaning their clothing and the effluvia that's all over this.
Well,
you burn it. You cover it up with a nice smoke.
You know, I camped in the desert for a week.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, and I found that with a bunch of other people, and I found that because it's the desert and the water, all the moisture evaporates off of you immediately, you actually don't smell as bad.
That's good to know.
You actually don't smell as bad.
Changes how I've been reading this.
Yeah, if they were wandering through a swamp, that would be very bad.
That makes sense.
But in the desert, not everybody's that smelly. The animals, I can't say. There were no oxen, rams, sheep, or goats there. All right. If a stranger lives among you or with you for generations, makes an offering to make a nice smell for Jehovah, this is what he'll do. There is one law for the congregation, for you and the stranger. This is an eternal decree for generations, because you are strangers before Jehovah.
Or at least until you don't do sacrifices anymore. Whatever, forever.
There is one law and one decree for you and the stranger who lives with you.
That's chapter 29. Chapter 30, in which there's still more rules for something that won't happen for 38 years. Numbers 15:7 to 15:31.
Tell the sons of Israel, Jehovah said to Moshe, when you get to that there land I'm taking you to, and you eat the bread
Do it in the prospector voice.
When you get to that there land I'm taking you to, and you eat the bread of the land, you have to give a tribute to Jehovah. Raise the first of your baking as a tribute to Jehovah, because it's like the tribute you leave from the threshing.
Of course.
Give the first breads as tribute to Jehovah for generations. If you make a mistake and don't do all of the commandments Jehovah said to Moshe, everything Jehovah commanded you by the hand of Moshe from the day Jehovah commanded and on through the generations, this is what happens.
Oh my God, this definitely happened in Leviticus, I'm pretty sure. But why not repeat the most boring parts?
And in Deuteronomy, don't they have like even more?
There's more, but Deuteronomy is a little quicker. It's like the summary.
Right.
And I'll get to it when I get to it, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. This is what happens. If the congregation sees the thing as a mistake, the whole nation will bring a bull as a nice smell to Jehovah along with its meal offering and make it according to its rules. Also, a he-goat as a sin offering. You got a little scapegoat kind of thing there.
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
The Kohen...
Well, Yom Kippur, but yeah.
Yeah. The Kohen will atone over everyone, and I'll forgive them for the mistake. They'll bring their sacrifices and their sin offerings to Jehovah for their mistakes. The whole phalanx of the sons of Israel and the stranger who lives with them will be forgiven because it was a mistake.
After all that, they will finally be forgiven for their little mistake.
Nice use of the word phalanx there.
Yeah, thank you. That's one of my favorites for the words that are repeated over and over again.
If one soul transgresses by accident, he'll bring a year-old she-goat as a sin offering. The Kohen will atone on the mistaken soul who sinned by mistake before Jehovah, and he'll be forgiven. The person from the sons of Israel and the stranger who lives among them have the same rules for what to do if they make a mistake.
What if they make a mistake while bringing their sacrifice for making them? It's an endless cycle of goats.
Yes. The soul who does it with a raised hand, whether in the people or a stranger, who rebels against Jehovah will be cut off from the people.
So I guess raised hand meaning intentionally doing something wrong.
Because he rejected the word of Jehovah in this and his commandments, his soul is cut off, and he bears his iniquity.
That is chapter 30. Chapter 31, in which the entire nation joins together in unity to kill some guy. Numbers 1532 to 1536.
Once, the sons of Israel were in the desert, and they found a man collecting branches on the fucking Shabbos day. The people who found him brought him before Moshe, Aharon, and everyone else. They put him under watch because they didn't know what to do with him. This man must die, Jehovah said to Moshe. The whole phalanx must stone him to death outside the camp. The whole camp dragged him outside the camp and stoned him to death, just like Jehovah commanded Moshe.
That's chapter 31. Lovely. Chapter 32, in which there's a random rule for some reason. Numbers 1537 to 1541.
Tell the sons of Israel, Jehovah said to Moshe, to make tzitzit on the corners of their clothes for generations. They should put a turquoise thread on the tzitzit. It will be your tzitzit. Mm-hmm. You'll see it and remember all the commandments of Jehovah, and you'll do them and not turn toward your heart and eyes and be a bunch of whores. You'll always remember and do all my commandments and be holy to your Elohim. I am Jehovah your Elohim, who took you out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim. I am Jehovah your Elohim.
God, Jehovah had some serious and abandonment issues, making everybody wear a friendship shirt at all times. That's chapter 32. That is episode 4. Send out. Thank you so much, Brian.
Well, you're welcome. There's one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. There's one. Oh, go talk.
No. I wanted to talk about the guy with the sticks.
Safchad. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the sticks, because as I told you, I was raised Catholic.
Yes.
And I took a New Testament class, and I took one semester of a New Testament lecture. That makes me an expert.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because there is in the Gospel of John, chapter 5, Jesus gives he riffs on chapter 31. He riffs on the carrying the sticks.
Right.
There's on the fucking Shabbos day, as you put it. Jesus heals a lame guy. He heals a guy who can't walk, and he tells him to pick up his mat and go home. And the guy does, and he runs into some Pharisees along the way, the Pharisees being the Hasidim of Jesus' day. And they're like, hey, you're carrying a mat on the Sabbath. Didn't you read this portion of Bamidbar? Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, Jesus told me to do it. Go talk to Jesus. So they go talk to Jesus, and they're like, what's with the carrying around on the Shabbos?
There's an Eruv. You don't hold by the Eruv?
What's with the carrying around? And Jesus is like, my Father never stops working, even on the Sabbath, and neither do I. Motherfuckers.
Okay.
So it's
interesting.
That's
a callback.
Yeah. Oh, and the New Testament is like the Gospels, especially, is like the callbacks are all over the place, Where, Jesus does something. The Pharisees are like, "This is not according to the law," and Jesus is like, "You're doing it wrong. I know the law better than you're obeying the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. I know the spirit of the law better than you. Shut up." And they're like, "Okay, we're going to kill you."
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of the New Testament that's basically just like snappy answers to stupid questions.
So it's mostly Magnet Magazine.
It's a lot of, there's a lighter side of Judaism.
The lighter side of the death penalty. Yeah. So now is the part of the show where we do a Devar Torah, which literally means the Torah word.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you could try to sum up everything that we've read, as slightly disconnected as it is, into one word.
One word. Disobedience.
Yeah.
Disobedience, I think, is what this is all about. Because you've got the spies who disobey. You've got penalties for accidentally disobeying, as well as disobeying with your right hand raised or with your hand raised. Mm-hmm. You've got the guy disobeying the commandment for picking up sticks on the Sabbath. And then you've got a reminder. The tzitzit is the reminder to be obedient.
Yeah. No, and there's a story in the Talmud that I'm probably misremembering, where there's a guy who is seeing a prostitute, and he's climbing up into her bed, and his tzitzit hit him in the face, and he's reminded. And I don't remember if he keeps going or not, but it's another one of those callbacks. It's that's the intention is, I guess, when you're taking off your shirt to do something wrong, you should be reminded of God. Yes. My Torah word is unreasonable. Because I just feel like, and maybe this is a theme that I go back to a lot, but I feel like God is very unreasonable in this one. Like, probably the most unreasonable he's been in a while, because he's been sending plagues and punishments and getting pissed off at people. But this one, where it's like, actually, I'm not going to take you to the land, and you're going to have to all die in the desert, even though I'm the one who brought you out of Egypt. And the fact that Moshe is able to sway me to like let your kids go into the land, but not you, doesn't really, I think, help that whole thing about what other nations are going to say about this God. But fine. And it's just that unreasonableness where they like bring the guy out and stone him, even though he just said, like, if you make a mistake. And maybe the guy didn't know that he wasn't allowed to pick up sticks, because
they didn't even know. Moses and Aharon didn't know. They didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, nobody knew what to do. So that was mine. Is there anything or any lesson or something that you feel like you take away from this?
I mean, unfortunately, the lesson that I take away from this is something that you mentioned before, which is that God is a psychotic narcissist in this one. He just as crazy as can be. Although what the spies did is also unreasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, they should. I mean, in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, God proved himself pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And Egypt being, I think, presented as the most powerful. Certainly, Pharaoh, Egypt being the most powerful nation in the whole region. Who cares about a couple of Amalekites?
Right.
I mean, obviously, Jehovah's gonna help you beat up some Amalekites.
Well, that's what's so insane. It's like nowadays, it's everybody like, wow, maybe if God revealed himself, I'd be a believer. But like, these people saw some crazy, crazy stuff, and they still
the firstborn of everyone died.
Right, like you saw some crazy shit happen. You're still like, I don't know if God can do it. I don't know. I mean, like he destroyed the entire infrastructure of a country and killed their entire army and like their hierarchy, but I don't know if some rock people.
And not just any country, like Egypt. I mean, like historically. If you believe that this takes place in 10,000 BC, Egypt controlled Canaan at the time. Egypt was huge.
Yeah.
There was nobody could rival Egypt. And Jehovah beat them. Who are these guys? Who are these guys in Canaan?
You know what? Everybody's unreasonable.
Yeah.
Everyone's unreasonable.
Yeah. And did they think they could fool God? Did they think that like they would come back and like, oh no, this place sucks, we're not going to beat them, and like God wasn't going to like. God knew.
Yeah.
He knew.
He's been promising it for centuries.
Did they think they were going to get away with like bullshitting about this?
No. Nobody knew what they were doing. I wanted to know if you have anything to plug or where people can find you on the internet.
Yeah, follow me at Brian B. Levinson on Twitter. Brian B. Levinson. The extra B is for bargain. I have like no Twitter followers, so any additional followers would be a mitzvah or mitzvot, plural.
Follow Brian. Very funny Twitter.
Please do.
Good tweets. Anywhere else? Anything people should check out? Any commercials they should be paying attention to in the future?
Oh gosh, no, not to my knowledge. If you hear a Dos Equis ad where a prospector says "We struck beer," that's me. That's me. But I don't know if it'll air.
Perfect. As always, you can find the podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Instagram, on the website. Listen on Stitcher, iTunes, any podcast app in the world, most likely. Please share the show. One way to share the show is by downloading it and renaming the MP3. Renaming the MP3 Bodak Yellow by Cardi B and sending it to your friends and convincing them to listen to it, and then they'll get addicted and listen to every single episode. As always, rate and review us on iTunes. It really, really helps. Brian, thank you again
Thank
so
you,
much.
David. I had a great time.
Now, but thank you. This was really fun.
Yeah,
I can't wait
great.
to put it out on the internet. And make sure to tune in again in just another week, because next time in the Bible...
A plague was starting in the nation. He put the incense on and atoned for the nation, standing between the dead and the living.
We really need Ian McKellen to play.
You could just see him, run, you fools! Take the incense! Right.